Hello, Edmonton. Welcome to Startup TNT. We got the top 20 companies in Edmonton here ready to pitch for a whole pile of investors' cash. We're ready to go. Startup TNT is this awesome thing that I happened to fall into. I thought I was going to some happy hour with like a whole pile of people. I showed up on week 6. We used to be at Polar Park in real life. I showed up on week 6 expecting a crew of people, and it was actually just Zach. And from there, we bonded. We created this thing. We just kept on finding problems in the community to solve, started solving them at Edmonton. And then we were like, I bet other places have this problem. And now we're doing this in Calgary as well. So this exact same pitch night is happening in Calgary as well. If you don't have the link to that, you should have it in the event where you found this link. Feel free to switch between this one and that one if you want to support both cities, or, of course, just stay in Edmonton, because why wouldn't you? Startup TNT is this awesome thing where we're trying to, have fun, make friends, and build companies. That's the mantra of what we're up to here, and in that order. So we used to host a happy hour in real life at Polar Park. Now we host it on Thursday evenings on Discord because of COVID. But again, the point is that, as was seen in that slideshow, in order for us to build companies in a sustainable way in this province, we need to have fun with each other. And by doing that, we're going to make friends with each other. And by making friends with each other, we can work with each other in order to build our companies. And whether that's as investors, as entrepreneurs, as service providers, as people that are just general supporters in the community that happen to have their ear on the ground and can point people in the right direction, everybody here is welcome. And with that, I'll tell you a little bit about what it is that we're doing at Startup TNT tonight. So what we're up to and what we have here is, it's called the Investment Summit. And the Investment Summit it's not a business plan competition, it's a deal screening process. What we're doing is we've collected checks, $5,000 checks from 30 investors local to Edmonton, a whole pile of whom are brand new to the investment scene. It's a relatively small check size to make it an easy, appetizing way to get into the venture space. They've all committed, so we have 150 grand sitting in a company waiting to invest into another one. And what we're going to do is we're running a deal screening process. We had 44 companies apply in Edmonton. We've whittled it down to the top 20. 10 of those companies pitched last week. 10 of them are pitching this week. And what we have is they're pitching to investors to convince them that they should be that #1 company that receives 150 grand. But the magic is that those investors, a $5,000 check isn't exactly a massive sum of cash. And so what the objective of us is that this 150 isn't the only impact that we have. What we want is for the investors to find other companies through this that they want to invest in as well. Maybe they want to invest more into the #1 company. Maybe the Edmonton investors want to invest into the Calgary companies. Maybe the Calgary company or the Calgary investors want to invest into the Edmonton ones. And all in that process, we can create a more successful ecosystem. And so the goal is, at least my internal goal, is for us to hit over $1 million raised across this year, including the 260 that we raised last year, or in February. For tonight, though, like I said, we have the top 20 companies. 10 of those top 20 are pitching tonight. The process is as follows. We're going to give them 3 minutes to pitch, and then a following 3 minutes for questions from the investors. I'm only going to interrupt if things are going aggressively long. I don't want to hamstring folks, but please, have a timer or something next to you. It's really, kind of awkward for me to step in and interrupt the flow. It kind of breaks the mood. So please just be on time and be kind about that. And then I'll keep track of time during the questions. Investors, please chime in if you want to ask me questions directly to me through a private message. If you don't want to stick your neck out and post it in the overall chat. Or alternatively, feel free to toss it in the overall chat. And non-investors also feel free to chime in and ask questions, and also show your support for the companies. I don't know if all of you were here last time, but last week the chat was popping off. It was awesome. People were showing messages of support. People were just generally being excited, and that was awesome. It was a great mood, and I want to replicate that again tonight. So please have fun. Type some messages into the chat, say hello to everybody. It's an awesome time. Feel free to do that right now. And like I said, we have pitches in Edmonton and Calgary, both happening right now. So if you have some companies in Edmonton that you'd like to watch and you want to support some companies in Calgary as well, feel free to jump between. All you have to do is switch between the two Zooms. And then this isn't over once the pitches are over. What we have is we also have Discord. Like I said, we're going to be pitching, or we're going to be hanging out afterwards on Discord, well until the middle of the night, hopefully, hanging out, having a time, making friends, having fun, making friends, and building companies. And if hopefully you signed up for free beer. If you did, enjoy. If you didn't, please have a beer. I'm going to open mine. I got mine from Sea Change here, and I'm just going to do that. So we're ready to go. Couple things. We have some upcoming events. So these first three, these are during Startup Edmonton Startup Week. So feel free to sign in for those. Those are free. It'll be a good time. The reverse pitch night, that is essentially, we have the service providers pitching to the entrepreneurs. You don't see that happen too often. You know, what does Startup Edmonton do? We're going to find out. You know, preparing for DD with Arden Say. Arden runs Accelerate Fund, you know, all of them. But he's one of the VCs that we have in town, and he's a great guy. He's going to be giving a few tips and tricks. And then Customer Economics 101. I mean, I selfishly put this in here because I'm running it. But I think that folks need to know a little bit more than when people ask you, how are you going to make money? And all too often I hear the response of, yeah, this is how I get revenue. But you need to understand a little bit more about that process. You know, how do you acquire the customer? How does that all work? You know, we can chat about that. And then, of course, the culmination of this event is the Investment Summit on November 19th. Mark your calendars. We're going to be getting the event link out for you guys in the near future. But for right now, just mark it on your calendars, and that'll be coming up soon. You know, we can't do this without some funding help, you know, both from the government here. So we had Western Economic Development or Western Economic Diversification come in clutch with some money here from the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund, which thankfully was topped up a little bit more from the feds earlier this week. So that program is awesome. Thanks to them, and thanks to the ERIN and Alberta Innovates for coming in with some help as well. We can't do this without folks like that backstopping us to be able to hire amazing folks like Yasmin and Michelle to be able to help put all these events on. And in addition to that, we have sponsors as well. You know, CBRE, we had Jeremy host last week. InnovaBot is a VC in Montreal. We have my logo here because I'm talking. You know, Maggie's going to be helping us out with coordinating the summit. Valhalla's coming in with a whole bunch of help, both bringing in investors, bringing in education, helping the investors, helping the entrepreneurs. They're a great partner. And we have a whole bunch of other close friends and community partners as well. Deal Closer is helping us manage all of our forms and signatures and stuff. If you've ever had to deal with, you know, managing a capital raise or any sort of transaction, you know there's a pile of paperwork. And Deal Closer is really coming in clutch and helping us out there. Here is the schedule for right now. I've obviously taken it too late. I'll shut up. I'll let True Angle go and pitch, but this is the process for this evening. And then we're going to be ending it off on Discord. As I said, please don't just jump off. Please come to Discord and hang out. It's like going behind the scenes. You can hang out with all the entrepreneurs and investors and, you know, really get into the Edmonton scene. And the Calgary folks will be there as well. It'll be a great time. And with that, I'm going to introduce my co-host. I don't know if, Mike, did you notice this? Did you notice what color this is? Did you notice that? What? Yeah, drug bank. What's going on? Oh yeah, you gave me a pile of swag, and I'm wearing it all. So, nice. Mike, welcome.
Hey. Oh, you're wearing the drug bank shirt?
Oh, I got the drug bank shirt. I got the drug bank hoodie.
Oh, nice.
You didn't give me drug bank underwear, but I'd be wearing that too if you gave it to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I'm Mike from Drug Bank, and that's why we're talking about the Drug Bank shirt. But I'm working with Tim as well now, so which is awesome. And yeah, so we won the first version of this, and it was a lot of fun. I guess we were all guinea pigs at that point, and it was in real life, so that was a lot of fun too. And part of winning was we got to drink some shots out of a shot ski at the end. So I guess that unfortunately is hard to replicate over Zoom, but it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. And last week we had some really great pitches, so I'm really excited to be hosting today. Drug Bank is a pharmaceutical knowledge base. So we basically make information about drugs, how they work, and we have a number of different products for clinical companies, clinical software companies, and drug development companies. So that's in a nutshell what we do. But tonight is not really about me. It's about all the other really cool companies and great pitches tonight. So without further ado, I think I should introduce the first one. So as Tim mentioned, it's TrueAngle. And TrueAngle is they make a mobile sensor system which helps patients develop and retain their swallowing muscles, which sounds really interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. And let's kick it off.
Great, thank you very much, Mike. I'm Jana Rieger, CEO of TrueAngle. Like billions of people around the world, Eddie Van Halen loved to eat great food. This picture tells us that for him, it was about more than just for survival. It's about socialization, connection, and sheer pleasure. Unfortunately, Eddie Van Halen was one of 250 million people diagnosed with a condition that led to dysphagia, the medical term for a swallowing impairment. So it's caused by things like stroke, Parkinson's, or what Eddie died from this week, oral cancer. To survive dysphagia, people have to blend their food and drink it. And even though they do this, it can go down the wrong way and they can end up with an aspiration pneumonia, which will kill 1 out of 3 people. Now, it doesn't have to be this way because there's a therapy that can retrain the swallowing muscles. The problem is it requires going to a hospital to get hooked into this gargantuan machine on a daily basis for months. This is not only inconvenient and costly, but it's also a big risk because of COVID-19. Our solution is this discrete remote system called the Mobility that does for a fraction of the price what the big cart does and more because it's connected to our smart software through an app. Our business model combines both fixed and recurring revenue streams like a sensor hardware, a software subscription, and recurring sales of consumables like adhesives. In our first year, we expect that we'll have a near equal split of recurring to fixed revenue, and our goal is going to be to increase the recurring part of that ratio. We launched last month in the US with a B2C strategy, which allows us to grow a market and fine-tune our value proposition. At the same time, it also allows us to reach out to clinicians in the networks that you see on this slide so that we can inform a future B2B pathway. We now have product in 11 states, and what we're hearing from clinicians from the east to west is that this is a game changer. We have a seriously fun team, so we're serious about our work. We love to have fun together. Our CTO, Dylan, has deep technical knowledge. Gabby, our CPO, has deep product and customer knowledge. And I have a deep 20-year global network that makes us together a really unbeatable team. We've been together for 7 years and we've raised $4 million in a combination of grant funding and private investment. We're using that money to develop, test, and get this product to market. We have an outstanding supporting team as well who've been with us for over 3 years and a strong group of business mentors in Alberta, Chicago, and the Valley. We are focused on sales. We'll use the TNT investment to develop a repeatable sales model so that we understand our customers like never before, we target the right channels, and we're able to test our campaigns. Our intention is to be in a competitive position for our next raise, which will be focused on gaining market traction. So thank you for this amazing opportunity. We're looking forward to you being part of our team.
Awesome stuff. I love to hear it, and great problem that you're looking to solve. This is great. If you had to describe what skills or gaps, what skill gaps do you have in your team right now that you'd be looking to solve over the coming future?
The one that we're most interested in solving right now is a commercialization associate. So someone who's strong in business development, who can lead the team with the sales and marketing that we're doing.
Gotcha. And do you have any IP, like patent protection or anything like that in place?
We do. We've filed 2 patents. One is for the mobility system. It's pending right now, and we have another for a flexible version of the system.
Awesome. I probably missed this, but what sort of classification do you have with regards to like the medical device side of things and the regulatory side of things?
So we fall under a program in the FDA, which is for low risk biomedical devices. And essentially they fall into a wellness category. So we were able to go to market quickly with that. We do have plans for medical device approval with the FDA in the future if we hear from our customers, our clinician customers, that's important as a strategy for them, as well as if we unlock some features within our software that may put us into that category of a medical device. For example, if a clinician changes a prescription for a patient with the software.
And if you were to go down that path, would you be pre-market approval exempt, or would you have to go through the full regulatory process?
We're exempt. So there's a 510K exempt pathway for us.
Awesome. So then that means that there's presumably competitors or at least a functionally similar product out there.
Yeah, not in the area of dysphagia. So EMG is a sensor technology that's been around for a long time. It's been used by physios, and so that's where the exemption comes in.
Gotcha. So then, are there other products out there, or how do people currently manage this, issue?
Yeah, there are other products, but most of them are big. They're in the clinic. They're stuck there. The ones that are mobile are ones where, for example, there's a device where you can strengthen the tongue and the tongue only. And so it's kind of like, if I had to liken it to something, you're working on one muscle, whereas when you go to swallow, there are 2 sets of 32 muscles, so 64 muscles in total, plus your brain that's making this whole thing happen. So we believe that while there are other products out there that patients can use in the home, that we're superior to that because we're actually getting at the whole action and the whole relearning of it.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Thanks for the pitch, and thanks investors for jumping in with questions. Sorry to kind of take it a little bit offside there off of what your questions were with regards to the pre-market approval and stuff like that. But that was great context. Thanks, Jenna. Okay. Mike, what do we have going on? Who's next?
That was an awesome pitch. That was really cool technology, and sounds like it's very far along, so pretty exciting. So next up, we've got 7 Summits Snacks. 7 Summit Snacks creates chocolate fuel for endurance enthusiasts. Awesome. Totally different area, so that's really cool to see.
There it is. Super. All right. Yeah. Well, welcome to 7 Summit Snacks. As Mike said, we are going to charge your next adventure with chocolate-based fuel.
Thanks. So some quick intros. Hi, I'm Christine, CEO, but that doesn't matter because my 2 co-founders are the reason this company started. So Kristen is a marathoner and R&D chocolate scientist with 10 years experience at the likes of Cadbury and Godiva. Leanna is an elite triathlete and community fitness leader, not to mention former national pole vaulter, squash pro, gymnast. Anyways, pick a sport, she can kick your ass. But most importantly, she was the one who had the problem.
For sure. So I was tired of going to the grocery store or sports store and not finding a chocolate that spoke to me as an athlete and someone who's health conscious. So I asked my sister, can this be done? And I said, of course it can be done. Chocolate has the great blend of carbs and fat to help get you through those long endurance days. But then I thought, is this actually a good business idea? So we asked our good friend, Christine.
So I took a look at the global chocolate market. 80% of you are going to buy chocolate in the next month. But more importantly, functional food is going to be worth $275 billion by 2025. As well, the energy bar market and clean label markets are growing in North America. Direct-to-consumer foods grew in 2019 by 22%, and since the beginning of COVID have increased 45%. As well, our target market, generally fit consumers, are 40% of the population. We still wanted to conduct our own primary market research. So last winter, we began with focus groups. We determined product market fit. We narrowed our target consumer a little bit more. COVID came and totally trashed our business plan, but we proceeded with market validation by creating product and sending it out to targeted athletes to get feedback. Consumer science thanks Kristen, gave us feedback on taste, texture, function, packaging, and pricing.
In our consumer testing, we had some pretty incredible people back our products. They agreed the endurance bar gave them the great tasting energy they needed to fuel their endeavors. Because of our great testing results, we were able to launch and create 2 products, the endurance bar and the everyday bar.
Our endurance bar is a direct competitor to the carb gel market today. We have crafted 15 grams of carbohydrates in a 30-gram stick of chocolate fuel to get you through those long endurance days. Our everyday bar is that perfectly portionable piece of indulgence to help you relax at the end of a long day.
So far, we've demonstrated market traction with crowdfunding in the summertime. ATB Booster was 111% funded. Our co-manufacturer in Calgary believes in us, so they're letting us use their space. And we've demonstrated pre-sales, and we just created our first round this week, so we're really excited to get it out. However, as with all food companies, the path to profitability is through scale. So right now our margins are okay, but we're aiming to create at least 100,000 units so we can hit that 45% margin. So we are asking for $250K in the form of a SAFE to scale business operations and marketing activities. Yeah. And thank you. We'd love to hear questions.
So Mike from Drug Bank is asking, how do I buy your stuff? What's going on?
Well, our e-com site is live right now. You can go and pre-order. It should be available in 2 weeks. We're also going to be available at select retail locations such as Blush Lane. I think we have 8 boutique sports stores on board, and we're really happy. Sobeys gave us a call 2 weeks ago, so hopefully before Christmas we'll get in there. Yeah,
that's awesome. Are there any other endurance chocolate, like, you know, exactly the same category? Obviously the endurance market's pretty big.
No, so there are chocolate flavored endurance products out there today in the form of energy bars or or carb gels. Nothing made with chocolate, nothing in the chocolate bar format itself. So that's where we're really different. What we realized, and what I think big companies are realizing, is that educating the consumer that chocolate is purposeful is a really big marketing job. And so these big companies, which I used to work for, they're not interested in spending their dollars in doing an education piece. And they do tend to leave it for these little companies to build these really strong communities, which then they would further acquire in the future.
Cool. Multiple people are asking, what's sort of the carb, protein, fat breakdown, like the nutritional information?
Yeah, so that can be found on our website. Like we said, we've got 15 grams of carbs in our product, which is pretty standard for an energy gel. Because we have probably about 30 to 40% total fat in the product, that slows the energy release down, which then it makes it for a long, slow burn. So a carb gel would give you that real big spike in energy, but when you consume this within your first hour or 2 hours, it's going to keep you going for a long time.
Awesome.
It also helps with the digestion. It makes it not spike as fast, so you get the energy over a long period of time, which just fuels that endurance.
What was so you did a trial. I was a part of it. You didn't feature me, so I'm sad. But what was the feedback? How did that look? What was the market reaction?
Oh, well,
yeah. So again, like 10 years of working in this industry, I have never seen consumer test results score as highly as we did for overall product liking. And general feedback, people were asked to take these bars out on their endeavors. So it was in-field use, in-field testing. And the only negative comments we were getting is that people couldn't get into the packaging, which we totally knew was going to happen. So we've improved our packaging.
And also we tweaked the salt and the berries. So we did tweak the formulation just a little bit to make sure that we were satisfying everybody's needs.
Yes. Nice. I like to think that was my job. Nice. Cool. Great stuff. This is awesome. I'm looking forward to getting the box of chocolate in the very near future that I ordered. Mike, who's next?
All right, that was awesome. One of the things I really love about this event is just the variety. 2 completely different startups there. They're both awesome in totally different ways. So next up, we've got another one. Doortender. Doortender is an alcohol, e-commerce, and on-delivery platform.
All right, thank you, everyone. Share my screen. All right, so I'm excited to introduce you all to Doortender. Doortender is an e-commerce alcohol retailer that's going to change the way that you buy liquor. We know that today's customer expects the convenience of delivery. We've seen the rise in popularity of food delivery apps, but we haven't seen the same adoption of alcohol delivery. And why is that? It seems like a simple question, but the answer is more nuanced than you might think. On one hand, we have liquor stores, and because they're selling a commoditized product, this means they have condensed margins. Because they have condensed margins, they can't profitably provide delivery without either raising their prices or charging costly delivery fees. Now, on the other hand, we have consumers, and we know that consumers of commoditized products are extremely price sensitive. We can see this in industries like grocery or gasoline. People get pissed when the price of gas goes up 5 cents at the pump. The same principles apply to liquor. And that's not the end of the problems for the liquor store. So while they're dealing with these condensed margins, they have high cost real estate. These are big buildings on expensive real estate. And it takes a lot of human capital to run these operations. And the very worst problem of it all is that this liquor store has a very finite market reach. You're only servicing a small subsection of the city. But what if you created a liquor store that could change the operations to a centralized warehousing model and didn't need to charge that premium? That's exactly what Doortender's done. We've taken the decentralized traditional brick and mortar model and moved to a centralized platform that's leveraged through e-commerce and a logistics network. So in other words, we've taken e-commerce and centralized warehousing and reduced the problems of high overhead and expanded the market reach. And this brings us to the holy grail of value propositions, which is free on-demand alcohol delivery. You order from Doortender and the product is delivered to your door in under an hour. We don't charge a delivery fee, and our price is the same as what you'd pay at your local liquor store. So by the time you got up, put your pants on, got to the liquor store, came back, cracked your first beer, the Doortender driver would have already been there. There is no reason to ever go back to the liquor store again. Doortender was founded by 4 lifelong friends who were all laid off during COVID from our corporate jobs. We were on a Discord call one night and we decided to start this business that we just brought up. 88 days later, we were launched in revenue in Red Deer. Since then, we've been operational for just over 3 months. And in that time, we already have 1.5% of the Red Deer marketplace creating a Doortender account. This might not seem like a lot, but the market we're going after is massive. If we can capture just 5% market share in the geographies we operate in, that's $80 million in annual recurring revenue. And that's just on our base business. And that's just in Alberta. Doortender has a number of ways to diversify our revenue streams and grow in the future. So that's through subscriptions, data sales, and we're keeping an eye on cannabis delivery as the regulations unfold there. But as of right now, we're raising $750,000 to fund an expansion into Edmonton, and we hope to be operational there in 2021. And with any luck, we will be serving the beer next year at Startup TNT Night.
Love it. So one of the investors asked, how is this different than Drizzly? What's your competition in this space look like?
So Drizzly, again, they're an aggregator. We've moved up the value chain and we don't charge the delivery fee that Drizzly does. So Drizzly also is hamstrung by the fact that they don't control the operations. And you'll see, go look at Drizzly's Instagram page and just every comment under one of their posts is, I didn't receive my liquor, where's my driver, it's not here. So by giving up that part of the business, you're sacrificing a ton in consumer, the consumer experience. And by doing that, the value proposition, like I said, no delivery fee makes us different than them, and we're, they can't match us on value prop.
Gotcha. And so you're raising 750 grand to fund Edmonton expansion. How does that, how exactly are you planning on spending that? That's exclusively for Edmonton. What do the Edmonton economics look like when you've fully done it? Like how many customers are you looking to get? How does that work?
Yeah, that's right. So basically we need 1 warehouse per quadrant in Edmonton. So we've got a limited, probably more CapEx than your typical startup, but because we're operating out of a very bare bones retail operation, the CapEx isn't that much. It's a lot of marketing and expansion, and we're in a first mover position. So a lot of that is going into marketing and obtaining customers. The 750,000 will bring us to profitability in Edmonton in about 15 months.
Gotcha. How many SKUs are you carrying?
Yeah, so there's like 25,000 SKUs available through the AGLC. Right now we're at about 400, I believe. We're constantly expanding, but that is, probably some of the most capital intensive parts. So as we sell more, we turn a box of wine, we buy another box of wine, and we're constantly expanding on that front.
And so then does that 750 cover, if you have to have four warehouses and inventories, is that enough? Or how are you getting external financing as well, like loans or something like that?
Yeah, the inventory will be funded through a revolver through the banks.
Gotcha. For drivers, are you using employees or casual contractors, or how does that model work?
Yeah, it's a third-party courier network similar to Skip the Dishes.
Gotcha.
Uber Eats, yeah. And many of our drivers actually work for them as well today, so.
And you say that you've validated this model through Red Deer. What do your economics look like there?
So Red Deer, we're seeing a solid uptick. We've been launched 3 months now. We were just trying to make sure we had the logistics side of the business worked out in the first month and a bit. We've really turned on the marketing. We're about up 50% in the first week of October versus the first week of September. So we're really starting to trend up nicely that way. We've sold we're nearing in on $60,000 in sales to this point. And
on those 60,000 of sales, what were your margins on that?
So our margins are a little bit better than your traditional liquor store. We're at about 26-27% blended margin.
And is that gross or net of the delivery cost?
That's gross. So on our unit economics kind of work like this. Our average basket is about $45. We pay a driver $3 on that. And so our average profit is about $8.25 per delivery.
Awesome. Super cool. I love it. All right. Thanks for the presentation.
Appreciate
Mike,
it.
Who's next?
So I'm actually originally from Red Deer, so
okay.
Yeah, I got a soft spot for that one. Yeah, awesome. So another great pitch, and next up we've got MACH32 Inc. The aerosol containment tent is designed to protect healthcare workers from infectious aerosols generated during high-risk hospital procedures. So that sounds pretty relevant in the COVID world. So be interesting to learn more about that one. Probably just getting that pitch going here. So much variety in the pitches today. It's really cool.
Sorry, just trying to get my screen sharing working here. Of course, I updated to Cortina recently, and it's not letting me screen share.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What kind of error message are you getting?
Let's try this again. Screen share, desktop 1. Allow Zoom to share your screen, system preferences, security, privacy, which I've already done, except not on Cortina. I apologize. Do you guys want to
Should we come back to MACH32?
Is that doable, and I can get my system preferences sorted up here? I knew I'd pay for updating my operating system.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, let's go to the next one, and you can figure out your system preferences, and if things don't work, like Christiana just suggested, you could also pass it along to say me or Yasmin, and we can flip through the deck as well for you.
You got it. I'll try and get this working though. Thank you so much.
Cool.
All right, so let's switch over then to Easy enRoute. So Easy enRoute is an Internet of Things and AI company that develops tools to protect vulnerable citizens and streamline fleet management. Alrighty.
Can you guys hear me fine?
We can hear you.
Perfect. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Karsh Chauhan, and I'm an AI specialist at Easy enRoute. We are an artificial intelligence and IoT company based in Edmonton. Our goal is to develop technology that keeps people safe and keeps cities clean. Our 3 main sectors are student transportation, intelligent personal monitoring, and smart cities. We have branches in both Edmonton and India. The first problem we address is one of safety of school children. Across the world, school buses are generally safe and reliable, but late arrivals, mistaken drop-offs, and emergencies at school can cause parents significant distress. We've built an IoT platform that allows parents to monitor children's progress to and from school and provides notifications along the way. Our market for this project, if we look at realistic pricing and a market share of 5%, is an addressable market of 15 million in North America. If we're optimistic about our pricing and our market share, this value jumps to 77 million. Our first pipeline deal is one with Zonar, which manages a fleet of 200,000 school buses. There are 2 tiers of products we offer, and this project can offer us up to 1 million a month in cash flow. The second problem we address is senior and lone worker protection. Falls and injury-related deaths, along with emergencies at work, are a significant problem within Canada. We've built an intelligent safety wearable that has several functions, including fall detection to 98%, and quite soon, physiological stress monitoring in real time to help address this problem. Our market is massive and it's growing. With realistic pricing and a market share of 2%, we see North America to have an addressable market of $1 billion annually. If we're optimistic about our pricing and our market share, this jumps to $3 billion. Our second pipeline deal is currently on hold due to COVID, but we've arranged with other clients to perform testing of our product in real environments to make sure we get advanced regardless. The third problem we address is one of cleanliness and smart cities in India. Waste accumulation is a huge problem and has caused elevated chronic disease rates and reduced tourism. India has pumped billions of dollars for funding in these projects. We've developed an IoT platform that allows each household and waste fleet to communicate with sensors, and this allows citizens to be able to connect with any sort of municipal services and require notifications throughout these processes. Our market in this project is quite a bit smaller, but it's much easier to access. It's 8 million based on a market share of 10 cities and realistic pricing, but with 25 cities, this jumps to 23 million. Our third pipeline deal is one with Raipur in India. Prior to COVID, we had expanded this project to 2,000 houses. Once India recovers from COVID, we plan a full rollout to 200,000 houses, which projects a cash flow of $600,000 or more per year per city. Here's our core team. Amit will be here to help answer your questions afterwards. And our advisory board and supporting organizations are listed below. In terms of traction, we have 3 pipeline deals that are very scalable, but we've also been internationally recognized through NASA iTech and multiple accelerators. Here are our financial projections. You'll notice that by year 6, our goal is to exceed 10 million in annual revenue. And here's our ask. We're looking for $1 million in funds. This breaks down 60% into product development, 30% into sales and marketing, and 10% into office administration. In terms of exits, our preferences is mainly buyout, and here are some companies that we think would be great for that purpose. Thank you for your time, and Amit will join us to answer your questions.
Awesome job. Kyle has a very valid point. If there's a prize for the most slides in the shortest amount of time, you win. Somebody asked a technical question that I don't know how to ask. What training data set are you using?
So go ahead, Amit.
Yeah, go ahead. So I can answer that question, Utkarsh. So we've been doing several data collection exercises and trials using university students, ourselves, and other demographics to collect the different data points in different conditions to train our AI model.
Cool. Have you tested the price point in India, or how have you tested any of these price points?
Yes, absolutely. We are actually currently selling in India and also in Canada for those product specific. And then in terms of the safety one, we're working for the price point. We've been working with one of the largest security company. With them, we did the market research and set the price point, which seems pretty economical.
Cool. Rich is asking, how does the technology work? And recognizing that I'm asking a technical person how the technology works, please don't go too far into it, and also recognizing the audience, but how does the technology work?
So it depends, Rich, because our base IoT platform remains the same. It's the application is different. And the applied AI is more within the embedded hardware for the intelligent software monitoring. So there's different sensors, gateways that are configured on the sites that sense the signals, and then our patent pending algorithms processes data. And it's happening in 2 spots. One is within the embedded hardware and one's on the cloud as well. It really depends on the application. So if there's let's say no internet, we can still deploy our technology without depending on the internet or data connectivity, and then sync up data once we get online.
Cool. Have you raised any other money prior to this, and how did that work?
We've been pretty fortunate. So we've been bootstrapping our company, and we got support from IRAP and continued support from Alberta Innovates. So we've been pretty fortunate, but now looks like it's the time that we need to raise the money. One thing Utkarsh forgot to mention, we also recently won a pilot project through a partnership with the city of Edmonton to monitor their snow dump trucks in remote areas where there is no, let's say, technology deployment possible, but we were able to do so.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, that's 6 minutes. I appreciate the pitch. Good work. This is awesome. Looking forward to seeing how this goes.
Thank you.
Mike.
Awesome. Is MACH32 on deck, ready to go? The updates are good.
It's updated, it's fixed, but now the host has not made me, I had to close out and start back up, and the host has disabled screen sharing for me.
Alrighty.
Give me 1 second here.
Love it, thank you.
We're fixing it. So just a quick reminder, aerosol containment tent is designed to protect healthcare workers from infectious aerosols generated during high-risk hospital procedures.
Love it. So is it working?
Yeah, we're good, and that looks like a terrible room.
I'm gonna hit my timer and get started. Man, this is off to a horrible start. I mean, I'm coming off a night shift, so if I seem a little delirious, please excuse that. I've been up for over 25 hours straight, and this is beer number 2, which is delicious, by the way.
You got this.
I'm not offering chocolates. I cannot deliver liquor to your door. Hopefully I can save somebody's life, though, and I hope that counts for something. So my name is Mark Curiel. I'm an emergency doc. I work out of the Misericordia. I'm an emergency doc by trade, and unfortunately I started a business. I started this business with a good friend of mine from high school who's a mechanical engineer and a project manager with PCL Industrial Construction, Chris Terra. And he, on a daily basis, manages $100 million construction projects. We have Kelly Motet, who's joined the team as our Vice President of Commercialization. She's taken several medical devices from idea through to commercialization and sales, and she's been helping us out immensely. So we have a driven team. We have multiple partners we're working with. We've got a couple interesting ideas. And unfortunately, I only have 3 minutes to tell you about 2 problems. I'm actually going to bring a second product in here today in one presentation. So what are our problems? Problem number 1, COVID-19. You might have heard of it. Our solution to this problem is something called the Aerosol Containment Tent, or the ACT, which we've actually generated revenue from. And problem number 2, this is trauma. Our device we're going to talk about here is something called I Am Safe. And this is to talk about some future revenue that we hope you can see from our company. So COVID-19, aerosols. Aerosols are particles that float in the air. We know that COVID-19 can be aerosolized during certain medical procedures, CPR, BiPAP, intubation, pretty much anything that I do to save someone's life, or if we're doing an operation, generates an aerosol. We know that elective surgeries are being canceled because of the risk of aerosol spread from asymptomatic patients who might be carrying COVID-19. We know that life-saving procedures are being withheld on a daily basis, and this includes things like colonoscopies to screen for cancer, mastectomies for breast cancer. Those aren't considered life-saving procedures that need to be done right now. And we're actually over 3 months behind on the breast cancer surgery list at the Misericordia Hospital alone. We also know that $50 billion are being lost every year in revenue from American hospitals due to procedures that aren't being done. So what is the solution? The Aerosol Containment Tent. It's a portable negative pressure isolation system. We actually have our official product launch October 21st. We have a Canada-wide sales and distribution network set up. We have our first product order, and we're working today. We heard Alberta Health Services is looking to set up some test sites for us to generate data and hopefully generate some sales. So we're already making money on this device. You know what's cool about it? We started less than 5 months ago. We took a medical device from idea through regulatory into the market and generating money in under 5 months. So we have a driven team that can complete. What else are we working on? Well, this is my baby. This is the device I'm interested in. It's called the I Am Safe, and it's a device for trauma. Why do I care about trauma? Because I see it every single day. And believe it or not, it kills almost 10% of the worldwide population. Kills more people every day than HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria combined. Think about how much money is spent on those diseases. It's also the leading cause of death for young people in the United States. What's the solution? Simple. There's an old drug. It's generic. It stops bleeding, and it decreases your risk of death by 1/3. $5, 1/3 less likely to die from major trauma. But it has to be given very quickly after trauma, and it's hard to give in the field. So what did we do? We made an EpiPen for trauma, right? We have a revolutionary drug delivery system. We aren't giving a new treatment. We're giving an old treatment better. So we are trying to enable a bystander to save your life when you wreck yourself in that car crash. This is our revenue expectation slide for the IM-Safe. I'm happy to take this offline and talk about the numbers, but realistically, what I want you to see is there's a massive potential for this device, not only to save lives and help people, but also to make you some cash. So come chat with us on Discord. Thank you for your time.
Awesome stuff, Mark. Give you a bit of slack on the time because you're on the hour 25 and beer too. So this is great.
I'm coming up on 26 right now, and my 8-month-old is teething, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, can't imagine that. So can you walk us through what does the aerosol containment tent do specifically? Like what's the problem that it's solving?
So contact droplet. I cough, I spit, I sneeze. There's a particle that goes and drops. It's heavy, it's small. Aerosols are little tiny spheres with virus that floats. They can go over 10 meters in distance and they sit in the air for over 3 hours and they remain infectious. So anytime I do one of these procedures to save someone's life, that entire area is basically a cloud of COVID for the next 3 hours. The tent creates a negative pressure that sucks the aerosols away from that field and basically decreases risk of exposure.
Very cool. Hey, now you make me concerned about going in my elevator in my condo.
You should be.
Thanks. So what's the shelf life on the EpiPen product?
We are still needing to do some degradation tests. We are looking at 18 to 24 months, but that needs to be confirmed in the container that we're using still.
Gotcha.
Just as an aside, our primary market that we're looking at trying to get into for that device, and we have a couple connections, is actually tactical medics, military, and special operators. And a big shout out to Stephen Ferry, who presented last week, for giving me some input on this.
Awesome stuff. Are both of these under the same company or are they two separate? I'm assuming that it's under the same company, correct?
Yeah, we started with trauma. Trauma is our past, trauma is our future. COVID happened, we did a pivot, and for under $50,000 in under 5 months, we've built this device and we're ready to go to sales. So
I also have past trauma. That's great. How much are you looking for in aggregate? What does this look like?
Yeah, so we're actually opening our family and friends raise. We're going to include some fools if you guys are interested. We're looking for 600,000, which we have saying no further government investments. So we've gotten almost 300,000 in non-dilutive funding thus far, and Chris and I are bootstrapping the rest of it. The 600,000 in a safe note should take us for 12 months of cash burn. Gotcha.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, Mark. This is great. Looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Yeah, thanks.
Mike, what's going on next?
That's awesome. Glad that we got Zoom working so we could see that cool pitch. Next up, we've got Robolution. Robolution is an AI and robotics startup that develops retrofitting kits for heavy equipment like bulldozers, excavators, loaders, etc., turning them into autonomous vehicles. Whoa, that's cool.
Hi, so what if you could plan and control a group of construction equipment with tablet and save $10 billion every year? I am Bowen, CTO of Robolution, and I want to share with you today what is currently dampening the efficiency of construction industry and how we can change that using AI and autonomous robotics. Yeah, it's now working. Yeah. So the construction industry has been slow to react to new tech, and its ability to generate profit has been declining over the past 5 years. This is mainly due to increasingly high cost of labor from labor shortage, long idle hours of equipment, and work incidents. Very serious problems looking ahead, and we want to solve this by providing a manufacturer-agnostic retrofitting solution. Thanks to multi-sensor fusion and AI technologies we have, we can grant the equipment its ability to operate itself and collaborate with other machines to achieve 100% safer operation. With over $85 billion spent on heavy equipment operators every year in North America and a total addressable market of over $12 billion in Canada alone, the market is huge. Our business model is a RaaS model for construction company where we sell our autonomous modules and charge service fee for each task assignment. In the meanwhile, we're looking for partnership with construction equipment manufacturer. About our team, all of us are from engineering background with over 5 years of experience in working with autonomous robotics. Before diving into entrepreneurship, we have already been working together for more than 2 years. We have built over 12 robots from scratch and competed at multiple international robotics competitions and won the #1 in North America in AI Challenge. We've had a proven track of success in the past, and we are so confident to say we're one of the best teams in Canada. We all know startups are hard, but luckily we're not alone in this game. We've got 2 professors at U of A and 1 engineering director at eCamp. We're also mentored by 4 amazing entrepreneur advisors and mentors, and most of them have raised and exit multiple successful startup companies. With a proof of concept robot developing in our lab already, we are now preparing for professional patents applications and have been talking to many top Canadian construction companies, and 3 of them invited us to visit their construction sites across Canada. Currently, one of them is drafting a pilot project with us. Looking ahead, we're planning to launch the pilot project in this quarter. In the next season, we are aiming for the seed funding of $260,000 for our it's a $380,000 for MVP development and field testing, which is going to be delivered in the 3rd quarter of 2021. In 2022, we'll hit the market and gather even more customers with our polished product. So I want to conclude my presentation today with our ask and our contact information. We're looking for any advice from investors and any introductions to industrial advisors. Thank you.
Awesome, great job. This is, man, you really get the, what was it called? Whatever this sphere is. You got the Steve Jobs channeled. It's great. You got the turtleneck. You're going. This is awesome. It's a great question. How do you deal with the OEMs? So do they lock you out? Like, have you spoken to them? How does that work?
So we haven't spoken to them. So there are actually a few similar companies to us, like down in United States. They actually have established some sort of a cooperation with say Cat and Bobcat already. So how they work, they basically share the technology. So we just want to establish the similar process and cooperation with many other construction manufacturers as well. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And to that point, how do you compete with the existing technologies? What are you doing that's different compared to them?
Yeah, so far there are actually 2 companies themselves. They're actually doing similar thing, focusing on like construction automation. But we're talking at very different segments of target segments of the market. So construction is a very complicated and complex work. So for example, Build Robotics, they're focusing on earth moving part only. So and that's the first point. We basically we're talking at different market segments. The second is our technology is totally different. So basically they retrofit the entire say excavator or other kind of vehicles. But our technology, we have some external sensor which enables fast deployment and lower deployment costs. So basically we have different technologies. We're talking about different market segments.
Gotcha. And so you said that your TRL, your technology readiness level, is level 4.
Yeah.
What does that mean in terms of your next step? And at what point do you start to kind of go on site and deal with worker safety? And when do you know that it's actually properly ready to go?
Yeah, so when I say technology readiness of level 4, so we have built our proof of concept in our lab settings, but we want to bring that kind of technology and test it on a real world. So that's why we're talking to the actual construction companies, and we're drafting 1 pilot project with them already. So basically, we want to bring our technology on an actual say excavator or truck or compact truck loader and test it against a real world scenario and try to use it on a real world application. And we want to go collaborate with those construction companies to hear their feedback, how the system works and how we can protect their safety.
Cool. That's awesome. And you have half of your mentors, or at least half of the ones that you had listed on your slide, are in here and speaking very high praises in the chat. So great work. I'm looking forward to seeing how this all goes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for the pitch. Mike, who's next?
Awesome. Another great pitch. Next up, we've got pagepack. Pagepack is a document assembly SaaS tool that reduces copy and paste document creation time. That sounds handy. Hopefully we get Zoom working this time.
Justin, you're on mute.
Yeah, just waiting on Brett to get this kind of working here. He's going to be the one actually presenting, but.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
There we go. Sorry, I was just going to say if we could hear Trevor to make sure that his mic is working, but apparently my mic was not.
Hello.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Fantastic.
Hello, I'm Brett, and I've got Trevor here with me. So workers spend a total of 58 days a year on document creation. For that, we've created pagepack, a software as a service, drag and drop document assembler that reduces copy and paste document creation time by up to 95%, saving time and money.
Brett is the lead developer on pagepack. Justin handles user experience, and I manage the marketing.
So there's a problem. Businesses constantly create repetitive documents that reuse content, proposals, employee manuals, SOPs, and maybe pitch decks. Employees waste hours building repetitive documents by copy pasting from various sources, leading to frequent errors and document fatigue.
What is document fatigue? Well, it's the exhaustion, frustration, and lost productivity that comes with copy-paste document creation, and it's a staggering problem. 49% of employees struggle to locate documents, and 43% struggle with document approval requests. Furthermore, they spend an average of 9 hours a week creating documents.
There's a solution, a document assembler that makes repetitive document creation quick and painless, and that's pagepack. It has editable content blocks that save to a company library, organized and centrally located. It has a drag and drop interface to assemble an accurate print-ready document in minutes.
Let's talk some numbers. If the average employee makes $70,000 a year and spends 9 hours a week creating documents, how much does that cost the business each year? It turns out it's $15,000. But what if the business reduced their document creation time by 95%, like one of our alpha users did? Well, then the business would save over $14,000 on document creation each year and hundreds of valuable hours for employees.
Assembling a document in pagepack takes 3 simple steps. Users populate the library with content blocks. Next, they drag and drop and customize them in a document. Then they export the document as a beautiful branded PDF. Simple.
What's our market look like? Well, any business that creates repetitive documents can use pagepack, but our initial target market focuses on businesses in health and safety, legal, and human resources.
So what do we need? At the moment, we actually aren't looking for investment, but I really appreciate the learning experience and connections that the TNT Summit has offered us here. What we are looking for is to connect with businesses who deal with repetitive document creation, especially in occupational health and safety, human resources, accounting, and law offices. And we're looking for beta users. If you or someone you know is ready for fast and efficient document creation, please get in touch with us.
Thank you so much for listening to our pitch. Feel free to email us.
Awesome stuff. Looking forward to seeing where this goes. What other sort of competitors do you have in this space? Adobe presumably has a competing product, or maybe not. What's going on in the competitive space?
Trevor?
Yeah, so Adobe does not have a competing product. There are other products that work similar, things like HotDocs, Templify, PandaDocs, but what we found with those was they tend to be suites, so they're like a document suite. So PandaDocs, it'll handle like prospecting and all these different things, not just document assembly. And other document assemblers like Hot Docs are very complex to use. So we never could find a streamlined, straightforward, modular document assembler that people can jump in, put together what they need without a lot of things to slow them down and export that document and get on with their day.
Cool. And are you assembling page by page, or is it sort of paragraph and section of document by section?
Both groups and sections. So that's part of the UX flow, is you can grab sort of a group of multiple sections or individual sections.
And it stitches it together as if it's like a Word document, or is it all individual pages?
I'm not quite sure I understand the distinction you're making.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you have the product all ready to go? And if somebody showed up and said that they'd like to pay you a pile of money for it, then you would do that? Or do you still have some coding to do, or what stage of readiness are you at?
Still a bit of coding to do. So we're in the next couple of months, we're looking to launch our beta.
Gotcha. And in terms of any sort of traction and customer discovery and that side of things, how's that process going? Obviously, that's what you're asking for, but
it's going great. Trevor?
It is, yeah. So we're working on our customer discovery, and we're doing our market research, one-on-one calls. We've already done some calls with some really fantastic people, and we're going to be lining more up for that. So if you are in some of those spaces, human resources or legal, or even if you're in a space where you're just thinking, hey, this could be a good fit, and you want to have a chat, I'd love to chat with you. I'd love to pick your brain and hear about what your experiences are. So please feel free to reach out to me if you're interested in that.
Awesome. River City HR wants to pilot it. Look at that. With respect to the pricing, have you given any thought to that, or is that dependent on what the customer is?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to talk to our beta users and see how much time they save as compared to our alpha users. The value prop and the amount saved by the alpha users is pretty clear. It's about $14,000 a year, and 10% of that into a monthly fee ends up being about $100 a month per user, and that's one side of it. And then the other side would be creating custom styling and themes for bigger corporations, and selling different styling themes to smaller businesses.
Super cool. Thanks for the time. Appreciate the pitch, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this all gets built out.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
A lot of traction, at least in the chat. So hopefully this goes somewhere.
Thank you.
Mike, who's next?
That was awesome, and I definitely have experienced the pain of document creation, so I'd be interested in checking that out as well. And also, Trevor has a great voice, I thought. He's like very good at presenting. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, next up we've got CommerceOwl. CommerceOwl. So CommerceOwl allows food and kitchen application companies to inspire their customers using recipes. Take it away.
Thanks, Mike. CommerceOwl is a technology company. Our mission is to help people eat better food. Imagine you're a vendor at the farmer's market, except unlike a normal market, you can't talk or even see your customers. This is how companies selling through retailers like Amazon feel like. They don't know who's buying their products, can't reach out when they have a new offer or promos. They don't have insights on how to improve. They live in fear of Amazon using their own sales data, which they've done, and competing with them. Today, we help one very specific segment, small kitchen appliance manufacturers who want access to the consumer. Manufacturers have really used an old technique to do this, where you might have experienced this, where you buy a product, get it, and if you pay careful attention in the package, you might have seen a warranty registration card, which you probably proceed to throw away in the garbage right away. Instead of that old process, we enable manufacturers to provide recipes as an added benefit. Our product allows them to entice the customer to engage with them by offering recipes and a sense of community around their product. This leads to the consumer actually using the blender that they purchased, making delicious smoothies with it, instead of it being put away in storage and letting it collect dust. Once the consumer is successful with the product, they will purchase new additions and accessories, and the manufacturer ends up making more money. Our product is a white label recipe platform and also a mobile app. They're branded for the merchant with a logo and customizable theme. Currently, we have 13 paying customers in the food and kitchen appliance space using the platform. So my name is Gazim, and I'm the founder of CommerceOwl. I've been programming since I was 15. Since 2009, I've been building software companies and have sold 3 software businesses and killed one. That's pretty good rate. From the last exit, which was in the recipe space, I invested $20,000 to build CommerceOwl, and I have years of experience building in this space. Our growth strategy is currently we have a market size of 100,000 plus merchants who sell on Shopify, and that's who we're going to target first. And we have a recurring revenue model broken into 3 tiers, $29, $49, and $99 per month. For the mobile app or API integrations into Google Home or Amazon Alexa, we charge a fixed fee and hold the IP rights to make cheaper onboarding for the future customers. Today, we're seeking $250,000 to hire a developer and marketing person. This will help us reach 300 merchants in the Shopify space in the first year. Once we have a decent penetration in this market, we will target larger consumer packaged goods with a market size of $1.7 billion in marketing. We aim to exit in 5 to 6 years and turn your $5,000 into $30,000 to $40,000 or more. So when you vote, please vote for us. Let's connect. If any of this sounds interesting and you want to learn more, please reach out on LinkedIn, email, or my phone number. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, Gazim. You talked about having paying customers. Can you give us some more details on that revenue? And
they give us money. Yeah. So currently, like I said, they're on one of these plans, $29, $49, or $99. One of them is on 99, the others are on the 29, and the goal is to build out features with this developer that we're going to hire and bring that value much closer to 99 and even 149. We've got some ideas on how to integrate recipe creation community, which we have experience with in the past, like food bloggers, how to essentially bring these market who needs recipes like these manufacturers and the people that are creating them and getting paid crap from food blogs because they're using ads. So I know that space super well, and I know that they would welcome a solution where they would get paid for recipes.
Super cool. And how many of these sorts of, 29 to 99 customers are there in the world? Like how many, what does that kind of look like in terms of?
So according to the data we pulled on Shopify stores, there's north of 100,000 stores, like merchants on Shopify that fit our target.
Cool. Okay. And in terms of the capital that you've raised to date, have you raised any capital or have you?
It was self-funded from the previous exit.
Gotcha. Okay. And then this 250 that you're looking for, are you speaking with other investors? Do you have anybody soft circled or anything to that effect?
Currently, we're not speaking to any other investors, but we might after this pitch.
Cool. And so presumably you're looking for others.
Yes. So if you're an investor not doing this $5,000 poker game, reach out and we'll love to talk.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. Appreciate the pitch.
How am I doing on time here?
Cool. Sorry?
How am I doing on time?
We're going to go to the next one.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tim.
Great pitch. Thanks for the information. Mike,
awesome.
Who's next?
Good job, CommerceOwl. And next up, we've got CauliPOP. Very good name. CauliPOP is a keto-friendly, gluten-free, crunchy vegan snack made of pure cauliflower. that is making me hungry.
Thanks. Thanks for the introduction. First, I just want to say thank you, Tim, and Zach's not here, but thank you guys for creating this great platform for new entrepreneurs like myself to have a place to safely pitch, and it's an encouraging space, and I just appreciate the community you're building. So let's talk about CauliPOP. A few years ago, several years ago actually, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition that's on the rise, and I was put on a grain-free diet to help manage that. That meant no more popcorn, but I could not find a substitute, a grain-free healthy substitute. There was pork rinds, but they were only cutting the insides of my mouth, and you know, pork rinds don't seem healthy. So after endless internet searches for years looking for a grain-free substitute for popcorn, the only thing that came up was roasted cauliflower. Now roasted cauliflower is darn good, but it's not crunchy. But it did help me make a connection, because later I was backpacking and came across freeze-dried foods and thought, man, freeze-dried cauliflower with just the right seasoning would be the perfect grain-free, super healthy, low-carb popcorn substitute, or just savory snack. And so that's how CauliPOP was born. CauliPOP checks the box of all the current diet trends. Plant-based is only growing phenomenally. Keto, paleo, we all know that's growing. And actually the grain-free market is forecasted to surpass gluten-free. So this is what CauliPOP's packaging looks like. It comes in these flavors. They're all vegan. So it's all clean flavors. It's got coconut oil. And I want to emphasize that it's freeze-dried. You may have started to see some vacuum-fried cauliflower products filled with oil, filled with palm oil and sugar. We thought about going that route. It's a lot cheaper, but that didn't sit with us. We want to do this right and healthy. So there's vegan cheese that's made with nutritional yeast, Himalayan salt and vinegar, and then the most favorite flavor is our vegan sour cream and dill. Each package has 2 1-cup servings. So each cup of freeze-dried cauliflower is worth 15 cups of fresh cauliflower. It's high in fiber, it's super filling. It encourages you to drink a lot of water, actually. At a retail of $7.99, it's up there in the premium market. It's going to be sitting on the shelf next to kale chips. That price, though, includes full distributor and retailer margins, and also leaves a balanced profit of around 50%. CauliPOP launched at the Canadian Health Food Association show in Vancouver. It was one of 8 products across Canada selected for Launchpad. My partner Angel's been in the health food business for 15 years. She's never seen a product launched like this. Our plan is to reach out to influencers. We've already signed with several distributors. We're in talks with Costco. Whole Foods in the US has approached us. We actually received some pretty large POs already, but with COVID, we had to take another look at our ability to get our first production run going. I think CauliPOP would be perfect for movie theaters once movie theaters are back open, right? For anyone who can't eat popcorn or wants a healthier substitute. We've been hounded by like vegan moms groups. They're super interested in CauliPOP for their kids. What I'm really excited about in terms of CauliPOP is the future for Alberta's agriculture. The concept of freeze-dried foods isn't a new one, but that enables a very limited growing season like Alberta to totally transform its agricultural market, and the demand for freeze-dried foods is only growing. So right now we're using a co-packer, but I hope to be growing and fully processing all of the CauliPOP in Canada, in Alberta, in the near future. And this is the team. I'm Leanne, and Angel Miller is Vice President. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Leanne. So what happens next with CauliPOP? What's the next step? Is it on shelves?
Yeah, it's not on shelves yet. That is absolutely the next step. We're being hounded by distributors and retailers who are at the CHFA and want CauliPOP. But right now, I'm raising funds for our first production run to get CauliPOP on shelves. So the demand's there. Everything is lined up to go. It's just a matter of, yeah, getting the product on shelves.
Gotcha. How big is we'll call it the corn intolerance market, or this like specific segment of the market that you're looking to target here?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the corn intolerance market. So it's for anyone who wants a low carb, crunchy, savory snack. And the healthy, savory snack market is exploding. Like anything vegetable based, like you've probably seen, like the pea, the lentil snacks, that segment of the market is growing. People love the idea of a crunchy vegetable based snack. But a lot of those vegetable based snacks, like some of the like the hippie snacks, cauliflower crackers, they're actually loaded with a lot of carbs. They're often low in grains, but they have like cassava flour in them. So that makes them higher in carbs. So this really hits the market for the lower carb, vegetable based, clean food market.
Gotcha. And how, you want to get onto store shelves. What do you need in order to make that happen? What's the next step there?
Really right now, we just need some investment. We've been self-funded to this date, but it's not enough for us to get this first production run in so that we can get CauliPOP on shelves.
And if we gave you the investment today, how long would it take for you to be on shelves?
8 weeks.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Super exciting. Yeah, we can get it on the shelves by Christmas. Let's make it happen. All right. Thanks for the pitch, Leanne. Mike, who's next?
That's awesome. Next up, we've got Zila Works. Zila Works is creating bio-epoxy resin, which is a bioplastic, and it's made from industrial hemp. So that's pretty interesting.
Good evening, all. Imagine a world where the plastic products we produce, plastic products we rely on every day, are made safely from plants that help fight climate change. At Zila Works, we're creating a new bio-epoxy resin made from industrial hemp to enable the transition to a low-carbon economy. My name is Jason Perkel, CEO of Zila Works. The problem with traditional industrial strength plastics, specifically epoxy resins, is they're made from virgin fossil fuels, a finite resource that contributes to global warming and the degradation of our environment. Virgin fossil fuels for plastics contributes to 6% of global oil consumption. Another problem with these plastics is they're made with chemicals like BPA that cause long-term health effects in humans, not only consumers, but also the manufacturing workers who handle them every day. Zila Works uses industrial hemp to change the way that plastics are made. Zila Works developed a patent-pending, 100% BPA-free bio-epoxy resin made from industrial hemp. Hemp is a renewable resource that absorbs carbon dioxide as it grows. So our hemp-based resin captures about 0.065 kilograms of carbon dioxide for every liter produced. We have changed the game for epoxies from a heavy carbon footprint to carbon sequestering. Also, we have significantly increased the bio content of the resin to reduce health risks for manufacturing workers and consumers. Global demand for epoxy resins was $8 billion in 2016 and is expected to reach $11.5 billion by 2022. Zila Works' entry point to the resin market is the ski and snowboard industry, which has annual epoxy sales of $24 million. We worked with the manufacturing partner who controls about 40% of the world's snowboard market, and together we created the world's first snowboard using a hemp-based epoxy resin. Our second planned market segment, floor coatings, had 2016 epoxy sales at $800 million in the US and opens our technology to the coating side of the epoxy resin market. As we scale up, our first sales are anticipated in August 2021, with commercialization scale reached the summer of 2022, and break even anticipated the following year. By year 5, we plan to have created 27 full-time jobs in Alberta, producing approximately 95,000 liters of bio-epoxy resin per month, sequestering approximately 6,000 kilograms of CO2 per month, and supporting over 5,000 acres of hemp cultivation in Alberta each year. We are currently seeking to raise $360,000 by year's end, using a combination of non-dilutive and dilutive equity investments, specifically convertibles with a 15% discount rate. These funds will allow us to distribute resin samples to an additional 30 to 50 potential customers, third-party validate our value propositions, and continue to strengthen our IP portfolio. I'm supported by a team of industry professionals and advisors who collectively experience commercializing over $120 million in polymer products. If you're interested in supporting Zila Works as we move towards commercialization, please contact us. I'm happy to answer any questions at this time. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Love to see Brad on that slide there. Good work, Brad. How does this work from an economics perspective? You know, how much does it cost for you to produce, say, a liter of resin, and what does it sell for, and how does that all work?
Great question, Tim. Currently, we are our models predict that we're price competitive. The work that we're doing with the University of Alberta right now, that is funded by our first seed round and a MyTax grant, is scaling up the resin from 1 kilogram batch size to 50 gram batch sizes, and doing optimization of the synthetic pathway to ensure that we are price competitive. So right now, it's about $9 and change for our cost of goods sold, and we have margins of anywhere from 38 to 59%, depending on the type of customer, tier 1 to tier 3.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how do you manufacture this? Are you thinking of manufacturing it yourself? Is it a co-manufacturer? How does it work?
Also a great question. Our operations, as we move towards commercialization, there's a lot of capital equipment that's required to purchase to make the resin in large batch sizes, 1 ton and above. And we will work with a toll manufacturer to produce the base resins for us. We will set up a compounding facility in Alberta that will bring in those base resins. We will formulate in-house, so keep that part of the recipe trade secret. Also, as part of that facility, we'll have a quality assurance lab and an R&D center so that we can formulate for a number of other market segments that this technology can be applied to.
Super cool. And I know a bit about the hemp world. What aspect of the plant are you using?
So as you may know, Tim, there are actually multiple parts of the plant that have market value, from the exterior fibers that are bast fibers to the hurd. We actually use the seeds that are cold pressed, so you still have the seed cake that has the protein that doesn't compete with the human consumption market, our food supply. And so we use the pressed seed oil as our feedstock to the epoxy resin, the bio-epoxy resin.
Gotcha. And how does this work with respect to human use? Are they safe for human use, or are you testing that, or how does that work?
Yes, we have, as I said, eliminated BPA. We have been very careful not to say non-toxic. As part of this raise, we'll be doing a full life cycle analysis and a toxicity analysis so that we can map exactly how less toxic we are compared to traditional epoxy resins. Gotcha.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, True Angle is obviously pretty interested in the medical space, so that'd be awesome if you'd be able to work with that. What's sort of your background in the hemp space? Can you just give a bit of background?
Sure. So I have a degree in zoology, economics, MBA in sustainable business, was a Peace Corps volunteer in Nicaragua under sustainable agriculture, and spent 10 years there doing sustainable agriculture and real estate development. My co-founder, Evan Boucher, our COO, is actually working for Munch Machine right now. It's another startup, and he has been developing a hemp processing machine, multiple types of machines for hemp processing, mostly for the CBD and marijuana markets.
Gotcha. Super cool. I love it. Great pitch, Jason. Great pitch, everybody. Mike, there's nobody left, right? This is it, correct?
That's it.
Yep. That's it. That's all. Mike, yeah. It's been a slice. Great co-host. Definitely up there. Definitely top 2. Between you and Jeremy, top 2. Zach, maybe 3rd. You two, awesome stuff. Guys, this has been a great time. Awesome pitches, everybody. If you want to hear more about what these companies are up to, or at the very least a segment of them, we're going to have our investment summit on November 19th. Feel free to chime in for that. Details will be coming out with regards to the ticket sales and everything like that. Yasmin, if you'd be able to toss the link to the Discord into the chat intermittently to get in between all of these thank yous. We're going to be moving on to our Discord channel, hanging out, having a time, having fun, making friends, building companies, please go onto the Discord. If you haven't used it, it's essentially Slack, but like niftier. It'll be a good time. If you have questions, feel free to reach out. There's people already jumping on, so please jump onto the Discord. And until next time, thanks for chiming in and thanks for supporting all of our Edmonton companies. Looking forward to the next time. Catch you later.